Judgment detoxes are bullshit. Let's be real. Everyone judges. So why are you judging yourself for having judgments? In this edition of Thursday's Thought, I break down the truth behind our judgments. Tune in and learn the neurological reasons why we judge, how to reframe your judgments on the spot, and 3 steps to help you shift from judgment to growth. Today's episode is sponsored by my advanced digital training, Unleashed and Unapologetic: How to Become a Thought Leader and Build a Cult Following. If you're ready to gain visibility, build a loyal as fuck following, and create impact while increasing your income, I invite you to enroll for the You and You training at rubyfremon.com/unleashed. And FYI, the prices for this program will be going up soon, so it's best that you lock in now. Whether you're new to this podcast or a loyal thought leader, please make sure you take a moment to drop a rating and a review on iTunes. And now it is time to dive into this edition of Thursday's Thought and explore why we judge. Hey, thought leaders, and welcome to today's edition of Thursday's Thought. And I want to dive into judgment. So let's be real. Everyone judges. You, your best friend, your mom, your brothers, like your coworkers, the other entrepreneurs you know, everyone judges. So when people tell you not to judge, don't listen, because they're judging too. And this idea of judgment detoxes is complete and utter bullshit. Okay, so judgment-free living is not possible due to the fact that we all have an ego. It's our ego's job to cast judgment, to keep us in check. So let's start by checking on what is ego, because there's a lot of people who talk about ego nowadays like it's a bad thing, and ego is not a bad thing. We all have ego. Ego is our sense of self. It's your self-esteem or your sense of self-importance. It's that part of you that carries a sense of personal identity. So that being said, we need ego, right? We need it. It's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when your ego is inflated and you have a higher sense of personal identity. But ego is a good thing. It keeps you in check. So when you're judging, for example, that guy at the gym for lifting his weights wrong, or judging that woman delivering a keynote speech at an event for saying too many ums, or judging that entrepreneur online for pitching her program in a Facebook group, don't hate yourself for it. Don't hate yourself for your judgments, because we all judge. Now, maybe you've heard this quote before. Your perception of me is a reflection of you, right? We've heard that before. Your perception of me is a reflection of you. Now, if we dive into that, what this actually means is that your judgments, AKA your perceptions, are simply a reflection of what you've been through, experienced, and what you believe, right? So the science behind it, it takes 13 milliseconds for your brain to process the input that it receives. Meaning everything that you see, that you hear, that you touch, that you smell has a super brief pause before your brain begins to recognize what it is and then communicate that to you. So in that brief moment of pause, your brain recalls memories of everything that you've experienced, as well as everything that you've imagined experiencing. And it creates a connection to what you are seeing. It tries to make sense of it, right? So it creates a connection to what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're touching, what you're smelling. And this is how your brain classifies something as good or bad, right or wrong, safe or unsafe. I mean, the list goes on. This is how your judgments are created. So your judgments are not the truth. They are simply your perception of something. So instead of letting these so-called personal development gurus let you feel bad about having judgments, I invite you to do something different. I invite you to get curious about your judgments. So get curious about them, because your judgments are based on your own internal system, right? They're here to tell you something. So when you feel a judgment arise, it's there to tell you something, to provide you with a deeper insight as to who you are and how you're working and the beliefs that you're carrying. So it's an invitation or an opportunity to create a shift. So remember that guy at the gym that you judged for lifting weights wrong? Get curious. Why is this judgment even coming up? And what do you want to do about it? Would you help him perhaps in that moment? Like, what's something else that you could do that would feel more impactful? And remember that woman speaking at the event, the one that you were judging for saying so many times. So get curious. Why are you actually judging her for saying one too many times? Are you actually jealous of her success or jealous of the fact that she's speaking at the event and you're not? Is that why you're seeking something negative to point out to make yourself feel better? I mean, what could you do instead? Could you find something to praise her for, to create a connection with her? Get curious. And remember that entrepreneur who was pitching her program in the Facebook group? Get curious. Why are you judging her for selling her shit? Is it because you have a fear of selling yourself, or perhaps a fear of being sold to, or scarcity issues? Or do you wish you had the courage to speak about your programs more often like she did in that Facebook group? I mean, what's really hiding behind your judgment? So a great way to put this into practice is number one, notice when a judgment arises. Simply acknowledge it, right? Just acknowledge the judgment. See it, recognize it, be like, hey, there you are, judgment. Number two, get curious about it. Ask yourself, why am I judging this person right now? Or why am I judging this experience right now? And then three, find the opportunity for growth for yourself so that you can then grow from this experience. This is something that I've been putting into practice for the last couple of years, because let me tell you, I have been a pretty judgy person. And I mean, when I say judgy, I mean really fucking judgy. And what I've discovered is my judgments really come from my own inner shit, right? So the more that I get curious about my judgments, the more opportunities I have to work through my inner shit. And that's what I've been doing over the past few years, is just working through my shit. Anytime a judgment comes up, oh, interesting. I wonder why I'm feeling this right now. And I treat that as an invitation to dive deeper and to uncover what belief system or what shit is hiding beneath the surface that is now come up for me to work through. And the other thing that this practice does is it helps you become more compassionate as an individual, both for yourself and for other people. So for example, the story I shared about the woman speaking on stage, and when I mentioned, is there something that you could praise her for? So often we want to judge people for wearing the wrong pants, or pants are too tight, or like their makeup's not great, or they speak a certain way, or, whatever it is, you judge them. And in doing so, what you're actually doing is creating a separation between you and that other person, because in some way, shape, or form, it makes you feel better. Let's be honest. In some way, shape, or form, it makes you feel better. So by praising them, by finding something that you can praise them for, by finding something that you have in common with them that actually helps creates a connection and humanizes the experience, which in turn helps you flex those compassion muscles that you have. So for example, the woman speaking on stage, you're judging her for saying too many ums. Well, what's something you could praise her for? Oh, I really love her outfit. That's something. Or, oh, we have the same hair. Cool. Find the commonalities or find things that you can actually praise someone for so that you can start seeing these people in a different light, the people that you're judging, while working through your judgments. And you work through your judgments by getting curious about them. So remember, everyone judges, okay? Don't judge others for judging, and don't judge yourself for judging. Instead, get curious about your judgments and know that judgment detoxes are bullshit. The only way to really navigate through your judgments and to grow from them is to get curious about them, because curiosity kills judgment and provides you with an opportunity to grow. So that's it for today's quickie episode of Thursday's Thought on today's Thought Leader. Thank you so much for joining me, where I am challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. If you are a rising thought leader and you're ready to gain visibility, build a loyal following, and create impact while increasing your income, I invite you to enroll for my advanced digital training at rubyfremon.com/unleashed. The link will also be in the show notes. The best part about this training is that as a bonus, you're going to gain access to monthly coaching and mentorship calls with me, which are always super, super fun. If you dig this episode, please share it with a friend and be sure to drop a rating and a review on iTunes. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the ratings and reviews so far. I would love to continue hearing from you, so please drop a review. If you have any questions about today's episode or you just want to say what's up, reach out to me on social media. My handle is @IamRuby. Check back on Monday for a brand new episode of Today's Thought Leader.